Hey, it looks like we are live. It's been several days since I've been able to go live because I've been a little bit under the weather. But that's okay because I still make it a super fantastic, terrific, over the top day, daily, in spite of and because of my friends. Santos Jr. here, a.k.a. soldier of self-mastery, philosopher of everyday victorious living. Right here in Stockton, California. It is Tuesday, another day off that I have, getting ready to go back to the work week tomorrow. And I wanted to take a few minutes out on this live session. By the way, I'm in the dojo. I'm in the dungeon. I wanted to take a few minutes out here, and I wanted to talk about gambling in this video. I want to talk a little bit about the lie. Most people are believing a lie, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about gambling here. I want to help encourage you. I want to help motivate you to think about your life, about where you might be right now, and what your thoughts are, your mental conditioning, if you will, your mental conditioning, if you will, regarding not just gambling, but maybe other areas of your life that you're struggling with. Now, I used to be a gambler. Today, I am a non-gambler. And I remind myself of that frequently because we need to be reminded. See, there was a period in my life where I struggled for a very long time, and that was because I didn't know who I was. I did not know who I was. And it's really challenging to live out your life when you really don't know, or at least have an idea or a concept of who you are or who you can be or what it is that you can accomplish. Because we are taught to believe so many lies. And especially when we're young people, we don't recognize a lot of these seeds that are being planted. We don't recognize a lot of these seeds that are being planted into our subconscious. And then we just grow with them. We go on into life, and we either add to those belief systems or we find ways, however it happens, we find ways to distract or change those false patterns of believing. And again, today we're talking a little bit about gambling and overcoming gambling because it's a horrible thing. My heart goes out to people that are stuck in these places. I call it the devil's playground. I call it false propaganda because the casinos and everything, the advertisement, the media, all of these things that tie in with gambling, it's all a propaganda to get into your subconscious. It's all a propaganda to get into to put a sharp hook into your mindset. And once it's there, it's almost, well, I'm not going to say it's almost, it is very, very challenging to get away from it. For some people, it's going to be more challenging than it is for others. I thank you for joining. We're going to be live here for a few minutes. I just kind of felt inspired to take a few minutes to get on in front of the camera here and talk a little bit about gambling. I've been getting quite a few messages about people. It kind of goes in, I don't know, spurts maybe, where people catch my videos and they comment, they get a hold of me, they send me a message, and I appreciate all of the messages. I appreciate all of the concerns, and some of you that know that I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I've been fighting a bug or whatever it is that my body's trying to get rid of or working on getting rid of. But as a person that has overcome gambling, as a person that has overcome lottery tickets, as a person that has overcome, I never really played cards. I was more of a dice guy, the guy that would pull the handles. And it was a very, very, it was a horrible time for me during those days. It was a very, very horrible time. You kind of live for that, right? Your mind is in a trap, and that's all you kind of think about continually. And it wasn't, I honestly, I guess I must have got tired of getting my ass whooped. I must have got tired of getting chunks taken out of my ass is what happened. You know, when you end up homeless, more or less, like I've been through, when you end up losing your jobs, and then having to lie to people and do all kinds of negative stuff just to try to feed that false belief system, because that's what you're doing. You're feeding a false belief system in however manner you do it. It's eventually going to destroy you. Eventually it's going to destroy you. Most people, or let me say this, there's a lot of people that find a way out of gambling through other means, right? Alcohol, drug addiction, suicide, or robberies, and then they end up in jail. Me, for some reason, I took to the internet. I began to start thinking about ways that I could, through reading the Bible, through reading other material. I do read a lot of material on the internet, blogs and so forth, and then just looking at my life, evaluating myself, I began to realize, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? In fact, I remember when I first started moving away from wanting to stop gambling, I began watching a lot of videos. That was one of the key things. I said, I stopped watching TV and I started watching a lot of videos. I started doing a lot of stuff on Google, just reading, and then I started picking up all of these little tips about positive self-talk, about my mindset, about vision of who you think you are, the person that you believe. See, you're going to act like, you will act like the person that you believe you are. If you believe that you're a gambler, well, then you're going to act like a gambler. If you believe that you're an alcoholic, you're going to act like an alcoholic. So what's the reverse of that? If you don't believe, right? If you don't believe that you are, or if you believe you're a non-alcoholic, well, generally you're not gonna drink. But you have to be able to convince yourself to get yourself to that state, right? Just like I began to convince myself that I was no longer a gambler. I mean, I remember the affirmations. I would literally talk to myself over and over and over. I remember when I was driving, I had this job, and I would literally just record my voice and talk to myself, and then I would listen to that. I would listen to my own voice over and over and over. And then, of course, I would watch videos like Earl Nightingale, Bob Proctor, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Anthony Robbins. And of course, I began creating my own videos, and then I would listen to my own self. See, the key to overcoming is you got to get to a place where you're plugged into a source that's feeding your mind. And eventually, that material that you're feeding your mind is going to take over all of the other areas of your mind that have been ruling for a long time. And I tell you, sometimes I look back in my life and I ask myself, man, how did I do all this? How was I able to overcome? Of course, it was a decision. I had, somewhere along the line, I wanted it really bad. I made a decision and I said, wait a minute. People talk about drawing a line in the sand, right? I'm drawing a line in the sand. Well, through positive self-speech and all of the things that I began to learn, I used reverse psychology on myself. So instead of saying, I'm going to draw a line in the sand, I'm going to draw a line in the cement, right? Well, you think about that for a moment. If you draw a line in the cement, that's a lot harder. That's more solid, right? If you draw a line in the sand, well, that's kind of weak because, the sand is soft. We think about the ocean water. We think about people walking over the sand and so forth. And that line that you drew can easily be taken away. Now, a lot of what I'm sharing in this video right now is psychology. It's psychology. You got to learn to work with two areas of your life if you truly want to overcome. And in fact, this applies to any area of your life. You got to learn to train your mind to move and to hold on to vision or thoughts of patterns of thought that you want to hold on to. And it's the same thing with your speech. When you begin talking to yourself on the highest positive level, you begin, for instance, start, if you're a gambler, say you're a gambler, start calling yourself a non-gambler. Start telling yourself that you're not a gambler. Start it today. Start it right now. Get in front of the mirror and look at yourself and tell yourself that, you know what, you're not a gambler. And it doesn't matter how you feel or yeah, it's going to be a little awkward, but here's the thing. You want to get to that place where you begin believing what you're saying. And that's only going to come through repetition, And I remember even when I was in the casino, I would be there and I would look around and I would be thinking about the things that I was saying to myself at home in front of the mirror or in the car, when I'm driving my car, right? And the more that you look at yourself and the more that you talk to yourself, I'm telling you, my friend, if you get anything out of this video, I want you to hear this. I want you to truly hear what I'm saying. When you get a hold of how to talk to yourself, you're going to convince yourself out of these things. Eventually you will. If you don't stop talking to yourself, eventually you're going to believe exactly what you are saying to yourself. And the more you do it, the more creative ways that you will find. Your mind is extremely powerful. So the moment that you begin going in a certain direction and you begin doing these things, your mind will be creative. It'll give you ideas. It's like they'll come to you. I talk about taking notes. Whenever I was watching videos or listening to videos, I would take notes. Ideas would come to me, and then I would say, wow, yeah, I could try that. And then I would try it, and it would help me for a little bit. Maybe that idea would lead me to something else. And it was like a game. And even during that game, I thought, man, is this going to work? I would tell myself, is this going to work? I hear it works for other people. They've overcome this thing or they've overcome the other thing. Can it work for me? Can what I'm sharing in this video work for you? Well, I'll tell you, you're looking at a person that broke free from that matrix. I don't think about gambling. In fact, I could probably walk into a casino and walk around the machines today and they wouldn't even faze me because I don't have that desire anymore. I've convinced myself through my thought, through training my mind and training through my own speech. I basically have literally set myself free. And I'm telling you, it's a wonderful feeling to be able to wake up every single day. You know that you're no longer a puppet for these casinos. You're no longer a puppet for their propaganda. All of these commercials. I remember I'd be driving down the road and you see the billboard, right? Block that bill. Don't even look at stuff. You're watching TV. Of course, I don't watch TV. You're watching TV. All these commercials come up. Block those commercials. You got to do whatever it takes in order to keep your mind focused on where you want it to be, right? Where do you want your mind to be? You want it to be focused on you being a non-gambler, on you being an overcomer, on you being victorious. And once that muscle, once those paradigms in your mind begin to give in, you will become unstoppable. Now, I admit I'm trying to develop a vision here. I'm creating videos. Where am I going with all of this? I'm still trying to work all of this out because this is all fresh to me. I had problems with marijuana for many years. I had problems with a lustful mind. And when I say a lustful mind, my mind was totally uncontrolled. Gambling, anger, depression, all of these things also stemmed from my childhood because I had a really bad childhood. I grew up around a lot of domestic violence. Insecurity. You would never catch me in front of a camera live. You know, I started doing this about 4 or 5 years ago. But there was a period in my life where I was just so insecure. I didn't have any self-confidence. I was afraid of people. And today, because of these two key things that I've done, that my friend, I know there's somebody here that's been watching me for a long time, and I'm not going to be too much longer on this video. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video live. And I hope that my inspiration and my faith would transfer into your life so that you can believe in yourself, so that you can have the confidence to say, you know what, big fat lie, you know what, bully, you know what, I'm not going into the devil's playground anymore. Only you can do to you. Why continue those very bad times? I agree. But it's habit. You see, we have these habits that we live on. Those habits are lifestyle. That's what our lifestyle is. It's a combination of bad habits and some good habits. Now, we don't want to break all these bad habits. What we want to do is focus on developing more positive habits, because they will override the negatives. And I'll tell you, I've done so much to myself. It's amazing that sometimes I begin to think, man, how did I get where I am today? Well, videos have played a huge part. I know I'm being a little repetitive here, but videos. Listening to videos early in the morning and late at night with headphones. I wouldn't, you don't have to stare at a video all day, but you can literally reprogram yourself by putting on a set of headphones. If you can do it, if you drive, depending on what you do during the day, you can do it during the day too, on your lunch breaks, I would carry a little piece of paper, put it in my wallet, and I would write affirmations. This is who I want to be. This is who I am. I'm strong. Or whatever it is that you want, right? That you want to achieve in your life. I would take that piece of paper, put it in my pocket. Whenever I was in traffic, I'd pull that piece of paper out and I'd remind myself, if I couldn't hear, something via headphones. I'm in the bathroom. I'm reading that piece of paper to myself. I'm in the line at the store. I'm reading that piece of paper. See, there's all kinds of ways that you can reprogram your mindset. You just have to become creative. And once you get going in those areas, believe me, your mind is extremely phenomenal. It'll give you ideas. It will definitely give you ideas. And you'll just, and it's really strange, because I've been completely free from gambling now. And it's like, the desire's completely gone. I don't have the desire for gambling. 30 plus years, my friend. 30 plus years of gambling and tens of thousands of dollars. And today I'm completely free. And I'll tell you, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you on the other side get free. I'm going to do everything in my power. If I can do it through coaching, I'll do it through coaching. If I can do it through writing, of course, I am writing a book. I'm working on that. And through videos, through free material if I can. But my friend, you're going to have to pay a price somewhere. You may be stuck in life, and it doesn't have to be gambling, but you may be stuck in life somewhere. And you're going to have to recognize, man, you are in a battle, and you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to pay a price. You're going to have to be willing to do something. Like I said, either the headphones at night, listen to that stuff. Let it get into your subconscious. I'm telling you, videos are extremely powerful. They will program your subconscious. They will program you, but you got to be willing to stay plugged into those sources. I was talking to somebody yesterday about GA meetings. I've been to those meetings. They really didn't work for me. And because, again, you got to create your own environment. And I don't think the environment of GA meetings is really conducive for a positive mindset. That's my opinion of it. And I've been to those, but they really didn't do. You can literally create your own positive atmosphere at home. You can do it at home. You just got to be creative and start somewhere. Start with one thing. If all you can do is watch videos, then watch videos. If all you can do is get a notepad and write every single day as much as possible, I'm a leader. I'm strong. I'm not a gambler. I don't know how to gamble. I'm not going to give my money to those casinos. Every time that I've gone to those casinos, I've lost money. I refuse to give my money to those. Write it down and read it to yourself over and over and over and over and over and over until it begins to really grab a hold of your mind, my friend. This is what I did to get myself to where I am today. And yes, in the beginning it was difficult. Yes, in the beginning I failed. I admit I did fail. There was times where I was doing these things and doing the self-talks and all of this and watching the videos, and I still went to the casinos. But it wasn't, it happened to take place pretty quickly after I began to recognize that all of these things could be overcome. See, you got to recognize that they can be overcome, right? And you got to recognize that they're lies that we are believing in our own minds. Once you begin to understand those things, well, wait a minute, why am I going to believe a lie? Think about this for a moment. If you were walking down the street, right, and somebody came up to you and they pushed you or they hit you, obviously you're going to try and defend yourself. You're not just going to let somebody beat you up in the street physically, right? But yet, we'll let the casinos do it. We'll let these machines, these handles, we'll let the cards do it, right? All of these billboards and advertisement, that's all kicking our ass if we don't pay attention to what's going on. And when you recognize, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to let this happen anymore. Okay, you made a decision. I'm gonna shift my journey. I'm gonna go in a different direction. I'm going to change. I'm going to do it. You know what? If it kills me, I'm going to do it. And you start that journey every day, little by little, inch by inch. It's a cinch, like they say. And that's how I was able to do what I've been able to do. And I've overcome many areas of my life, and I'm still overcoming. I'm still working on developing this vision of soldiers of self-mastery, because I want to help people all over the globe, all over the world. And I'm a little bit under the weather. I haven't been on my live sessions lately because I've had a bug. I call it a bug. I don't even want to use that word. It's all reverse psychology, man. You got to use reverse psychology. You got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn to appreciate yourself. You got to learn to talk to yourself whether you feel it or not. It's like when people ask me, hey, how you doing? When I'm at work or I'm out, how you doing? I'm doing super fantastic, terrific, over the top, in spite of and because of. Do I feel that? Sometimes I don't feel it, but I say it anyways. Why? That is my mantra. That is what keeps my mindset. That is what keeps my nervous system intact. And of course, with smiling, I try to smile as much as possible because that definitely helps too. But more importantly, is building up that self-confidence in your own life, my friend. When you believe in yourself, when you have self-confidence in yourself and who you are and what you can do, even though you're not there yet, you may not be there yet. I'm reminded of that speech by Martin Luther. He said, I may not get there with you. I may not get there, but I see the promised land. He saw a vision. He had a vision in his mind. And my friend, when you get a vision of who you can become and what you can do, you begin working on that. I'm going to be ending here, but I want to share this with you. One of the reasons, there are many reasons why people gamble, but one of the major reasons is because you don't have a vision of where you want to be in life. You don't have once you have a vision of what you can do with your life or where you want to go, it's going to overcome also those desires to gamble. So you got to, ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What would I like to see happen in my life? Dream, my friend. Dream and let your mind soar, just let it. Doesn't matter the circumstances. It doesn't matter whether you have money or you don't have money. Let your mind soar. Let it soar. And once you get a vision of what you can be and you begin to program yourself and you begin to move in that direction, all of these little funky desires like fear and insecurities and gambling and alcohol and smoking cigarettes or smoking crack or prostitution or watching pornography, whatever, all of those things are going to begin to fall away, my friend. They will begin to fall away, guaranteed. That's the power of the human mind, my friend. I tell you, I am so grateful today. I am so grateful today that I can look at, earlier today. I'm going to be ending here, so stick around for this little bit. I appreciate those of you that have joined. This morning I got up, as I said, I'm under the weather a little bit. My body's recuperating. I got in front of the mirror and I started talking to myself. I started looking into my eyes and I started encouraging myself. I started telling myself, you know what? I'm proud of the person that you've become. I'm proud of how far you've come. I believe in you. You're a very strong person today. You don't earthquakes, hurricanes, all of these things that surround you they don't cause fear in your life anymore. You've overcome gambling. You've overcome fears and insecurities and drugs. I have overcome drugs and anger. And when you do that to yourself in front of the mirror, that is one of the most encouraging moments. It's like everything else disappears and it's just you in front of the mirror and time is like suspended, and it's some of the greatest things, man. I saw a comment, it disappeared on me. Appreciate you commenting, Kong. I don't know who else is on there, but I can see. I definitely appreciate. By the way, Kong, looks like you're coming, you're progressing, you're giving yourself permission, to overcome and to live a more victorious life. I call that the way of the soldier of self-mastery. That's what we want, right? We want to have self-mastery. And I'm going to end here. Train your mind to focus on what you want it to be focused on. It's possible. Train your speech, the way that you want to talk. Choose the words that you want to speak to yourself, or the way you want to speak to others. Never mind what other people think. So I remember when I first started doing this, I would go to work. This was several years ago. People would tell me, hey, who do you think you are talking like that? You think you're better? Don't worry about any of that. You know what? Don't be concerned. Just talk to yourself. Remind yourself of who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there, my friend. And remind yourself of the possibilities. Be a possibility person, a possibility thinker. Always see the glass half full, okay? Always see that glass half full, not half empty. And always look for the possibilities. And the solutions. Don't look for the problems, okay? Most people, you give them the solution, and what do? They look for the problem. Be the opposite, okay? You got a problem, always believe there's a solution. Use Google, use videos, and reprogram yourself, my friend. It works. I'm doing it. I've been able to do it, and I'm going to continue to do it. By the way, if you're not subscribed to Soldiers of Self-Mastery, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Up there on my homepage, there's a little link that you can also subscribe to a monthly. We're working on sending a monthly video or a motivational, whatever it is that we create, right to your inbox, right to your email. It says My Gift to You on my homepage. We're still working on it, but we encourage you to join, be a part of this vision. As we help other people, believe me, you will be helping yourself, my friend. As you help other people, you will be helping yourself, and you'll get to put yourself in this state of victorious living every single day. So with that said, this is Santos Jr. live here today. Thank you for being with me. Again, I'm going to be doing more of these as time goes on. It depends on what comments I get and who join and so forth. If you like this, comment below and let me know, hey, we can do some more gambling talks, sessions, motivation, whatever you want to call. I call them micro speeches, to help encourage you, believe in yourself. You know, I believe in you. I know that you can do this. If I can do this, if I can be where I'm at today, totally free, the bondage has been broken, you can be in that same position starting from today going forward, my friend. Peace. Remember to make every single day a super fantastic, terrific, over the top day, daily, in spite of and because of, and I will see you on my next clip, my friend. Peace.